Chapter 50. Pass the damn salt, please. Several months later. Rachel and Riley, Part 16. How is everyone's favorite visual artist of the canine large intestine doing today? Said Riley. Here, what do you think of this effect? Says Rachel. Cool, I like the orange flare, said Riley. Yeah, it gives it a sense of motion, said Rachel. Who would have guessed that blank of the blanks dog would have the same condition as Patches, said Riley. And the same vet, said Rachel. And the same vet, having seen your DVD of Patches' medical test, would in turn show it to blank, who in turn would order one for his dog, said Riley. And blank, while in the midst of one of the most improbable NBA title runs ever, would in turn tell his trendy friends, and voila, a new career combining two of my favorite things in the world, said Rachel. Large intestines and colons, said Riley. Close. Animals and arts, said Rachel. Dang, I always get that one wrong. Good thing I love you, said Riley. Good thing you do, said Rachel. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain my acceptance with your fascination of the large intestine of small dogs, said Riley. Well, there is the insanely large amount of money that each one of these things brings in, said Rachel. Well, there is that, said Riley. Oh, by the way, I was at Les Chez Wireless this afternoon working on my laptop when it occurred to me that this coffee shop was just like a coffee shop, only without the internet, said Rachel. Yes, he said slowly, knowing she could move really fast if she wanted to. Go on, said Riley. Well, you know, in the olden days, they used to have open mic nights for like poetry and stuff, but now you go into those places and everyone is busy on their computer, said Rachel. Okay, said Riley, but obviously the people there want to be part of a larger community because they are outside, not at home, said Rachel. Okay, said Riley. Well, I think instead of open mic nights, they should have open network nights, said Rachel. That is brilliant, honey, said Riley. Yeah, so everyone will upload their files of their art or music or whatever, and then each individual piece would be released at the same time to everyone on the network, and everyone would type in their comments. So instead of snapping fingers in approval, there would be the clicking of the keyboard keys, said Riley. Laughter. And of course, if you just wanted to applaud, you could just do the space bar / delete key in rapid succession, said Rachel. Laughter. And then it would become one of the places where a silent keyboard was a faux pas of the highest order, said Riley. Laughter. Or if you had one, you could use a sound file of someone tapping, said Rachel. And soon everyone would be nerdishly competing to have the most esoteric keyboard sound. Laughter, said Riley. Pause. Riley, said Rachel. Yeah, said Riley. We're in a good place now, right? Said Rachel. I think so. Why do you ask? Said Riley. You remember the blouse lady? The one who spilled the beans about the power of just saying, I love you? Said Rachel. Yeah, funny. I haven't seen her much on the bus lately, said Riley. Well, the dirty little squealer has been taken care of, but I was wondering if I could ask about a guide thing in return, said Rachel. Taken care of? Good thing us guys are not so well organized. Sure, go ahead, ask. I will answer if I can, said Riley. Okay, every time women get together, they talk about 3 things. 2, I can't mention, otherwise, said Rachel. Right, otherwise you become the dirty little squealer, said Riley. And you don't want that label, let me tell you. But number 3, occasionally is revealed to a trusted male in an up till now unfilled quest for the answer, said Rachel. And what great and manly secret are you asking me to betray, oh my beloved? Said Riley. Know that this is a great honor even to be asked, and several times I have had to vouch for your honor and trustworthiness for your answer to be considered at least partially valid, said Rachel. Makes me feel so valued. But tell me, what great secret has troubled the brains of all we call female? Said Riley. Wherefore do men of the manly gender always promise to do something, yet seldom, if ever, do them? Said Rachel. That's it, said Riley. That's it, said Rachel. What's it worth to you? Said Riley. Let's just say I will find some way to make it up to you. So spill, said Rachel. Now I am going to hold you to it, Ms. Jungle Pants. Well, speaking totally hypothetically, ever mindful of the fate of the dirty little squealer, theoretically, if person A of the female gender was to ask person B of the male gender to do task X of the household nature, well then, what the female gender has to remember that for person B, said Riley, of the male gender, yeah, I got that, go on, said Rachel. His saying yes involves two entirely distinct decision points, not one, as I suspect person A thinks, said Riley. What the heck does that mean, my love? Said Rachel. It is really quite simple. A request to do something is two distinct moments in time. The moment when the request is made and the moment when the request is fulfilled. At the moment when the request is made, yes is by far the easiest answer to give. Yes allows you to bask in the approval of your loved one's admiring eyes, or at the very least, for those unfortunate enough to be going through tough times, a yes forestalls an argument or allows silence to reign. A no, on the other hand, leads to an immediate conflict. So yes will always win out over no. Then there is the decision point in the future where once again the male has to make a yes-no decision whether to do what he has said he is going to do. But this time he has to actually do something, and some time has passed since the initial promise. Both of these two factors increase the likelihood of inaction. said Riley. Meaning no, said Rachel. Yes, said Riley. That makes no sense whatsoever. Once you are going to do something, you should just do it. Okay, what if person A asks person B to do task X right now, said Rachel. To which the guy reply is either yes or yes, but give me a sec. But either way, to the guy mind, they remain two entirely distinct operations, said Riley. Well, then why don't you just say no in the first place, said Rachel. That might work if it is a real question, but every guy learns from an early age that a request from a mom or a sister or any kind of female to do something is not a question, but it is a request disguised as a question. Therefore, no is not harmonious to a meaningful option for harmonious living, said Riley. What if person B promises by all that is holy and up and down he will do it, said Rachel? By and large, doesn't matter. It drives up the negative relationship cost of a yes answer, says Riley. So you mean person B lies? Said Rachel. Well, not lies exactly, but gives an answer that brings about the greatest pluses with the fewest minuses to the guy, person B, said Riley. What if person A wants an honest answer, said Rachel. So I guess, again speaking theoretically, if there were a guy, person B, in a relationship where the relationship cost of a no was the same as a yes, then person A would get a really honest answer when asked B to do task X. Laughter. Relationship cost? This another concept by Riley, said Rachel. Yeah, every action in a relationship has pluses and minuses. Responding no to a honey request has high negatives in honey disapprovals and potential for extended, probably uncomfortable discussions. Yes, on the other hand, is rewarded with honey approval and a sense of doing something nice for someone else you care for. And at that moment of saying yes, by and large, person B has every intention of following through and doing task X soon, whenever. So technically speaking, he is not lying, said Riley. So person A, the female gender, is responsible when person B doesn't do what he says he is going to do, task X, when he said he was going to do task X because of person's A reaction to a no. That is your theory? Laughter, said Rachel. Highly ironic, ain't it? Said Riley. Ironic is not the word that springs to mind to this person A. So what do you recommend, O sage of all that is relationships? Says Rachel. I have never considered the problem from the other side. It is more important to get an honest answer or get the job done, said Riley. How about an honest yes, said Rachel. Laughter. I will consider that non-responsive. To get an honest answer, the emotional or relationship consequences of a no have to be roughly the same as a yes. To get the job done, I would recommend the least amount of time between the request and the action. Asking help to complete an immediate task has a far greater likelihood of success. Running in the house while on fire and then asking for help in dousing the flames is going to be done much more likely than fulfilling a promise to clean the rain gutters next spring. Also, asking things that he thinks are reasonable for him to do or do things he is good at. Now, I think I have said enough theoretically, said Riley. Okay, I think that is an answer the committee can work with. Thank you, honey. I love you so much for your mind, said Rachel. Oh, if only I have had $1 for every time I have heard that. Just once, I would love to be loved for my chiseled, manly body, said Riley. Or rugged, manly physique, said Rachel. Distinguished, manly profile, said Riley. Noble, manly brow, said Rachel. Steely, manly gaze, said Riley. Well, someday, I'm sure you will, honey. Not today, mind you, but someday, said Rachel. Well, you have to be cruel to be kind, and I love you too, honey, said Riley. Riley? Said Rachel. Yes, my sweet, said Riley. Are you going to walk Patches soon? Aren't you? Said Rachel. Soon? Said Riley. Yeah, like today, said Rachel. Is she on fire? Said Riley. Laughter. No, said Rachel. Oh, then you bet. Real soon. Laughter. Love you, said Riley. The end of Pass the Damn Salt, Please. Written and read by Dan McLaughlin. Bye-bye.